That book was depressing. Hi, I'm Oliver and welcome to today's book discussion. So today I'm talking about Go Ask Alice by Anonymous. I hadn't heard of that book at all. I heard about it only recently. I think it was last week or the week prior. Fellow Canadian Katrina Leaney, I think her name is as we pronounce her name, aka ThePrinceGummyBear here on YouTube, did her March wrap-up and April TBR video. And in it, she mentioned that book, and she said it was the diary, and it was a first-person account of a teenage girl going through drug addiction. I got it. It's not that expensive. It's 13 bucks here in Canada, is it? And 10 bucks in the US, so it's fairly cheap. I mean, it's not that big of a novel, and I read it in 3 days. I read it slowly, doing other things, working and stuff. And, it seems to be popular. They brag about over 5 million copies sold worldwide. And here's the thing. I'm going to start with this right away. And I'm going to rant for 1 second about what else? The world of French book publication. Go Ask Alice is, Alice is not the name of the main character. It refers to a passage in the book. It's like a direct quote to the inside of the book. Now, the French translator has decided to translate the title of the book as L'herbe bleue, aka blue grass. Where is that coming from? There's no reference to that at all in the book. Bluegrass is not like a cutesy name for anything that has to do with drugs in French. I'm like, why not simply translate Go Ask Alice as Go Ask Alice? Why translate Go Ask Alice as bluegrass? Nonsensical. But I'm glad I did the research because I was looking on how it was translated, so of course I was using the good old Wikipedia page. And that's where I found out that this so-called anonymous is not that anonymous. When it was published, it's anonymous, and to this day, when you open the book, like you have a little disclaimer, if you will, at the beginning of the book, and it says, Go Ask Alice is based on the actual diary of a 15-year-old drug user. It is not a definitive statement. It does not offer any solution. It is, however, a highly personal and specific chronicle. Names, dates, places, and certain events have been changed in accordance with the wishes of those concerned. Well, I found out on that page that actually it's not an actual diary of a teenage girl, but rather a piece of fiction written by Beatrice Sparks. Trying to fool us! You're not fooling me, because I know how. We live in a world where Wikipedia exists, man. So yes. So, because when I started reading this, I have to be honest. I mean, I don't have much to say about, there's nothing really I can say that's spoiler-free. Okay, so I can make a small spoiler-free review in the sense that it reads as a first-person account of a teenage girl falling into drug addiction. She falls into the world, she starts taking drug unknowingly. Someone just lays LSD in like a soda pop or something. And then, so she starts getting into it, she starts getting into trouble, she starts rebelling against her family, she runaways a couple of times, and yeah, so we follow her falling into it, trying to kick it, falling back, trying to kick it, that type of cycle. And how it affects her family, etc., etc. That's about it. I mean, you have to experience it. It's very, I found it to be to be convincing. I mean, yes. I mean, no wonder, actually, that it passed for so long as an authentic 15-year-old girl diary. It does read like one. So, I mean, it doesn't... The fact that it was a piece of fiction does not does not make it less of an important work, does not make it less of an authentic read, or it's still based in reality, so it's fine. It's just a bum, or it sucks that they tried to fool us, if you will. I mean, I don't want to appear all cynical, but when I was reading it, at first, because I discovered that it was not written by a so-called anonymous, but rather by Beatrice Sparks, once I finished the novel. But when I was reading it, the cynic in me could not help but think, really? Is that really the diary of a 15-year-old girl? Because it looks to me like some sort of very cleverly disguised campaign against drug using. And as it turns out, it kind of is. But the story's still gripping. Now, there are certain things that I liked and one thing that I did not like at all. Now, since it's a diary and since it's a first-person account of a teenage girl, the story is completely one-sided. So we not only see the world through her eyes, but also we see the action of others through her eyes. And sometimes, when she says the whole world is against me, blah, 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 you're like, really, girlfriend? Really? The whole world is against you? Oh my God. I mean, teenage girls can be teenagers can be a bummer sometimes. I mean, that whole thing about the world is against me, this rebellion against the world, this rebellion against the parents. I'm like, you're 15. Actually, when the book starts, she's 14. What the fuck do you know about life? You're 14. Guess what? Yes, father knows best. Yes, mother knows best. They've been through more. They know more. So, but it was believable. I don't have any trouble imagining that's how a teenager would feel. And how she can go on like a page being like, oh, I love my parents, we're getting along so fine. And then 2 or 3 pages later, which would equal to maybe like a day or 3 days later, according to the diary, she'd be like, oh my God, they're getting on my nerve. They don't understand me. Why is she so annoying? She's on my back all the time. And she ran away twice, and every time she's came back, her parents have always been very supportive and crying and hugging. I'm like, oh my God, we missed you. We love you, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I understand that you're glad, but, grounding someone can be a sign of caring. Isn't just me. I mean, I don't have kids, so I cannot act or say anything as if I known what it was like to be a parent. I'm just, wondering. Because at one point also, like, the principal asked her into his office after she's been away, and he's like, no, you've been away, you were in trouble before you left. I mean, now that you're back, things are gonna have to be different. You're gonna need to be walking the straight line, blah blah blah. And does she listen to that? No, she's all like, well, he does, like, who does he think he is? That's not a way to talk to someone. He doesn't know how to relate to kids and teenagers. And once again, you're 15. What do you know about life? You know nothing. So you do indeed need to fall in line and get your shit together. He sort of did like a wake-up call, a slap in the face, like wake up, and get it together. So totally warranted, if you will. Here's to annoying teenagers. Man, I need booze just to get through this review. What sort of the book makes it feel as if she also has a weak or fragile psyche. So the fact that she did drug maybe enhanced that or made it more so, but I don't know, to me it's not as if her faith was entirely decided by drug use. She just seemed to have been predisposed to having problem. But I mean, there's tons of disgusting passages. She's raped a bunch of times. She's feared that she's going to be pregnant. She starts using heroin and, stuff like that. So that's not cool. When she goes bunker after a bad acid trip, I mean, she has scratched herself, pulled her hair, pulled her nails and stuff. So it's kind of gross and graphic, but I kind of like the fact that it didn't shy away and it just explained it to us. So other than the fact, so it was like a car crash. So it was a believable car crash. Like a car crash, I could not look away, but that didn't make it any less pleasant or easy to read. I mean, it was tough because of the drug use and because the consequences of the drug use and the horrible things that happened to her because of the drug use. And it was also horrible because she was a typical teenage girl. Now, but there's one thing in the book that bugged me. Made no sense. Made no sense. It's basically the fact that, like, on this page, she's like, you know, she seems to have gotten her things together. You know, she's back from the psychiatric ward, right? Did you think that as well? Like, she seems fine, or she seems to be on track, and she's like, I'm gonna stop writing this diary. And then, on the next page, she's like, she dead because of drug. I mean, if that page did not exist, it's not that I'm a sucker for happy endings, or it's not that I mind that a book does not end well, but it seems, and I know that life can be sort of like arbitrary, you know, like you walk the street, you get hit by a car, and then you die. But that's not what that last page says. It says, you know, died of drug. Was it a premeditated overdose? Was it an accidental overdose? What really happened? You know, drugs. I'm like, she seemed to have kicked her habit. So to me, the fact that she would have died or anything would have been believable if they had said, for example, that she had committed suicide or something like that. Because to me, like, she had a weak psyche, but to blame, like, so yeah, so she had a weak psyche. She seemed to have been prone to depression, etc. But to blame it on drugs bugs me because it didn't make it seem organic. Does that make sense? Did you think that as well? Did you, like, when you read it, did you also feel like that? So it was as if it was like, okay, let's really make it a cautionary tale and just add this one paragraph. So that annoyed me. So, did you read Go Ask Alice? Did you like it? Did you find it to be a believable journey? Were you as infuriated as I was with the main character? So you can let me know in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe if you want to be aware of any other video that I make in the future. Like the video if you liked it. You can also come and find me on Twitter and Facebook, where you can have a preview of what I'm reading and thus know before everyone else what video I'm gonna shoot next. And while I was reading this book, I was like, okay, what should I read with this book that would go with it in terms of music? And I listened to the Girls Aloud album, their first record called Sound of the Underground. R.I.P. Girls Aloud. Nicola Roberts for the win.